If you have ever gotten a skein or a hank of yarn like this and not known how to use it, put it together, then I'm going to show you some tools that are really useful. You can, of course, do it by hand by holding one person holding it out like this, which is what the job of the swift will do. And you can wind it into a ball by hand, which is what our ball winder or our yarn winder will do. But these two tools, the swift and the ball winder, means that if you have a lot of skeins that you need to change into balls or cakes of yarn, it makes the job much, much faster. So we're going to look today at how you set your yarn up. We're going to take a look at how you put it on the swift so that it doesn't get tangled and make a mess, and then how you actually go ahead and wind it using the ball winder. So this is what the most winders are going to look like. My one here has got one yarn guide here and one here. A lot of them may only have one, so follow the directions on the yarn guide you've got, but the basic operation of them is going to be pretty much the same for all of them. This swift is known as an umbrella swift, and it's probably one of the most common because it's fairly cheap, it's easy to use. This one is plastic and metal. You can sometimes get wooden ones that perhaps have strings that tie those together. They're going to be a little bit more expensive, do look really nice. And another type of swift that you get would be something called a sunflower swift, where you've got a part that sits on the table and then the arms open up and turn around. But they all do the same job. They hold that skein of yarn opened up. So when you get a skein like this, what you're going to do before you do anything else is just open up one side and then you're just going to shake it out. So this is what you've got. When you open it, make sure that you don't have anything twisted and it all makes sense and you haven't doubled the skein of yarn up. It's quite helpful to just actually pull it a little like this because it actually opens up all of those bits of yarn. You're going to have different ties, some over here. Sometimes they'll have just one set of tie, which will have the start and end of the skein. Other times like this, you might have one in between. If you've got hand-dyed yarn, you may even have 3 or 4. So just look all the way around it and take whatever is needed off. This one also has a label that we'll have to take off before we can use. So to get it ready, prepare it like this, and then I'm going to go ahead and open my swift up a little, but I'm not going to open it all the way up because by doing it just partially, it'll make it a bit easier to put this over. So then I'm going to lift my yarn over, taking care to not snag anything. Then if you hold one section out like this, it means that you can then grab the opening and push it so that you open it to its full extent so that it holds all of the skein of yarn. If your skein of yarn is smaller, you won't open it as much. So just open it so that it's all being held and make sure it's as straight as possible and you're not getting any twists. Then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to just get a scissors and cut each of these sections that you've got here. So now you've got the tail in here, which I usually tuck in, and the outer part that I leave here. There's another one over here. I'm going to take this off and pull that whole strand out. And then the final one we have here is the label. In this case, I'm just going to break it and it'll just untwist. It won't cause any problems. So that's the first thing you want to do. And that is how you get your swift set up. Now you want to join it in with your yarn winder. So we're going to take the tail of the yarn here, kind of make sure there's nothing twisted if you can. And I've pulled a little bit of yarn out to get started there. I'm now going to go and thread it through any parts that need to be threaded. So in my case, there's 2 different ones to be thread. Might be different for you. Put this up here. And now you've got, most of these will have a little slit in the top. So you want to pop this down into the slit. Then to get started, I try to hold a little bit of tension here so that it's going to get started catching. So you want it to grab a few ones that go around like this and then just get started winding like this. You can, if you want, hold your hand here to actually guide it as you're going along. I find that quite helpful because I find that it ends up giving me a little bit more tension, and so I get a kind of a snugger cake of yarn. You just keep twisting like that, keep going in the same direction until you have created your cake. We're almost coming to the end here where you want to slow it down. And then when you reach the very end, you just pop this up. You may opt to take your ball band and snug it inside. And then you can either work from the outside, or because you had the tail in here, you can hang on to the tail and you can start with the tail from the inside. The choice is up to you. Then you can tuck it in. So there is your little cake. Here is it with the bigger ball of yarn. So you can use quite a big variety of skein sizes in your ball winder, but it definitely does speed up the whole process of winding yarn.